Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Kentucky Route Zero. I gotta tell you, when we were playing through the Xanadu simulation, I assumed that it was a thing that Donald wrote in the way that he wrote it. I assumed that what was happening there was he was telling his story up to a certain point, and then from there forward it was aspirational. But with it saying Lula approaches and then we get off the terminal and hey, there's Lula, I'm starting to wonder if maybe something a little more fantastical is going on here. I sort of want to ask Donald about the nature of the computer, but I'm worried that he's not going to have any interest in talking to us about that. And really, we do need to talk to Lula, right? You really did go deeper into the caves. Well, you were easy enough to find. I've met a few of your former assistants. One can't help but hear things. So, this is what became of our project. Oh, I've made some additions. Joseph stole the data tapes for the first half, so I've had some blank spots to fill. Yes, I know. He published his version, actually. I'm sorry to report that it's a bit tediously sentimental. We've been looking for you. So you found the address data. Just pass it over to Donald here. Donald, will you be a dear and crunch these numbers? We're looking to sort out a street name collision. Dogwood Drive. Wait, wasn't the Bureau going to process it? Oh, I insist. I have cycles to spare. I'll just pack my pipe and get to it. That's a weird phrase. I should only be an hour or so. Andrew will carry it over to... I'll be at the Bureau for the rest of the night. Just mark it private materials for the attention of Senior Clerk Chamberlain. Well, how do we get to the Bureau from here? I am a little bit lost. Oh, the bridge. Yes, the bridge. Through the gate over there. Now we, too, recede into history. Good night, Donald. Meet me at the Bureau and we'll get you on your way. Head counterclockwise to the cathode ray, then turn around. Then it's just clockwise until you find the Bureau. Between us, I think you should drive. Yeah, I think that's probably a good idea. Okay, so we have to stay here for an hour, right? Or do we want... Donald's gonna run the thing and send it along, I guess? I could just go to the gate and leave. And out of curiosity, are we going to get any new text here? Alright. Can we operate the gate, or is he going to have somebody drop it for us? Okay, apparently it's going to be fun. You know, I kind of thought... the gate is open, it turns out. I kind of thought the way this is depicted, I thought it was a gate like a draw... I thought it was more of a drawbridge. It was going to have to come down, like there wasn't a way to walk across here. Well, I guess let's head back to the Bureau. A hiking backpack leans against a rock. It's full of empty wine bottles and library books. Oh, hey. Look who it is again. Kind of a worrying effect a little bit. The way they're, wiggling back and forth on the wall. I guess it's supposed to simulate the way that, fire sort of licks around and makes shadows appear to move, but it's not, something about it's just a little worrying. Someone has left a portable tape recorder on the path. It doesn't appear damaged, but there's no tape to play or record. Hey, that's familiar. I guess I could probably just hit down here. And how long were we up there for? Did we... How long did we leave them just sitting down here? I don't have the option of asking the dog a question. Well, thanks for waiting, Blue. And what have you been doing? Keeping Johnny here company? Again, one of these days that dog's going to respond. What happened up there? I'm actually not sure. Oh, very mysterious, ma'am. Yeah, it was weird. It was a whole real weird experience. Let's get the hell out of here. it's about time we get back on the road. So, counterclockwise to the cathode ray, and then clockwise to the... Oh, man. I'm already turned around. Thank God for our field notes. Uh-oh. Was it not written down? Well, whatever. We'll figure it out. I mean, we're probably only going to be able to reach the cathode ray one way, right? I think it was counterclockwise to the cathode ray. The cathode ray is in approximately that position. Okay, then turn around and go the other way. To get back to the Bureau, and then once we get back to the Bureau, probably not a huge surprise. We're not going to go right in. We're going to look around for the other things that we've learned the location of. So a thing is happening to me here where I feel kind of like... I feel like the Zero is... I always feel like we're in a familiar place, but I also always feel lost. And I wonder to what degree they're causing that intentionally. Because I see the signifiers, right? The signposts, so to speak. And I'm like, okay, I remember that one, but wait, was it always in this position? Or are these things moving around on us? They could totally be moving around on us, and I would not be able to tell because my memory is so bad. But it's creating a hell of an effect. Okay, so... Nope, wait, that's not what I want. We want to go to the Consolidated Power Office. I'm very curious about this. Clockwise for some time until you reach the Scarecrow. Turn around, go back to the Bat Feeder, turn around. Okay, Scarecrow, then Bat Feeder. Okay, I have the option of taking a nap. Right, I remember this. I mean, I would hope that Shannon is driving right now anyway, because Conway's seen better days. And also, I'm not 100% sure he's come down from those drugs yet. Scarecrow, then Bat Feeder. Yeah, I don't know if everybody has the experience of being lost in a familiar place, because other people might have a better memory and sense of direction than I do. This game's doing a really good job of creating that familiar sensation for me. I'm going the right way, right? It said clockwise. Yeah, it said clockwise. We saw the Scarecrow when we were on our way back. It should be right up ahead, right? Yeah, okay. Scarecrow, turn around, then Bat Feeder, turn around. I definitely need to have some words with the people at Consolidated Power. The Account Resolution Center is several hundred feet above the ground, precariously supported by a dozen metal pipes. The wires of a pulley system run down from a hole in the floor. A thin rope dangles next to them. Well, I mean, gotta get to the building. Shannon tugs on the rope a few times. After a few still moments, the pulley wires grind into operation, and a metal bucket slowly descends. While she watches the bucket approach, Shannon's mind wanders. You know, this whole weird thing is happening because of Weaver. She thinks about Weaver. She wonders if Weaver is down here somewhere on the Zero, and what she might say about it. Probably something about its topology, its knotted surface. She remembers a puzzle Weaver enjoyed as a teenager, about bridges and islands. Move between the islands, crossing each bridge once and only once. Weaver filled sketchbooks drawing these islands and bridges from memory, trying different routes. Eventually, she moved on to other puzzles. Had she solved it, or just given up? Or maybe she'd just drawn those bridges and islands so many times that she no longer needed paper and pencil to work on it. The pulley stops abruptly as the bucket reaches shoulder height. Inside is a handwritten note, regrettably indisposed, please call again. Huh. I don't think they're actually indisposed. I think we got the brush off, but alright, fine. And then we'd have to go clockwise to the anchor. So wait, how do I get back? I mean, can I just follow exactly the same route back? Does the zero work like that? So wait, did I... Alright, then turn around to the Scarecrow. And then it'll just be a while. Except we don't need to go all the way back, right? Oh no, wait, I do need to go all the way back, because I have to approach the landmark from the right side so that I can turn around and be going the correct direction when I see it. I think. Except that I don't really have a good sense of how any of this works. This sure doesn't look like the right way. When we saw the cathode ray earlier, we turned around at it when we were going this direction in order to get back. But I'm not exactly traveling the same... What am I doing? Why am I trying to figure out a route back to the Bureau? Yeah, that's good. Okay, Shannon is the one driving. Good. That's the wrong button. I clicked on this for a reason. Yeah, maybe that's a good idea. Junebug knows the way back. She'll handle it. Okay. Alright. Clockwise to the anchor, counterclockwise to the whirlpool. Anchor, then whirlpool. I think the anchor's not so far, right? Oh, okay. I think the cursor was too far ahead there and I got it a little confused. I'll tell you, I'm having a very frustrating day. Stuff was bad before I started recording, and then I've been having all kinds of ridiculous technical issues since I started recording. I've already forgotten what's after the anchor. Whirlpool. But we also managed to stop by this boat. But I'm very much looking forward to getting to the Zero today as a way of just like relaxing and digging into something that I'm really interested in here. Two figures crouch over a pile of wood a few yards from the creek, occasionally hammering or making adjustments. Sorry, there's a creek? Well, I guess let's approach it. Junebug pulls the bike closer to the creek. What looked from the road like a haphazard pile of wood is actually a worn boat. It's in poor repair. Perhaps it was abandoned and only recently salvaged. Well, let's say hey. Johnny shouts a greeting. There's too much work to be done. Rotten planks need to be pulled and replaced. Nails need to be driven. Gaps caulked. Should we? I mean, they're making noises. Sure, turn on the field recorder. Johnny switches on the field recorder. The recorder's red light flips on with a thrum. The take-up reel rolls forward silently for a moment before catching tape and beginning the recording. One of the figures stops working, sets down a caulk gun, and looks over at Johnny. The other finishes tearing at a bit of rotten wood stuck to the hull, then turns. After a minute or two, Johnny stops the recorder. File that one under water sounds. I guess. Sounds that occurred near the water. I guess we're in sort of a nautical area of the Zero. We're by the creek, because this is where all the water signs are. The buoy and the whirlpool and the anchor and the propeller. The Rust Archives are housed in a low wooden building with angular flourishes in glass. Shannon enters alone, walking up a shallow ramp and through glass doors. A young woman seated in a wheelchair staffs the front desk. She smiles politely. Two folders are stacked on the desk, an orange one labeled Wheat Tree, Mexico City, VAM Station Wagon 1974, and a green one labeled Wheat Tree, Elizabethtown, Kinetic Sculpture, 1968. Well, we've heard Elizabethtown mentioned a few times. That is the way I'm making this arbitrary decision. The woman at the front desk gestures to an unlabeled door in the back of the room. Shannon enters, switches on a lamp at a desk inside the small room, and sits down with the green folder. Inside the folder are 3 clear plastic bags containing muddy brown flakes of varying sizes and hues. Each sample is numbered, with corresponding one-sheet documents interleaved. So, wait, what is it? Muddy brown flakes of varying sizes and hues. I guess let's examine the first sample? This sample was taken from the sculpture's base. Oh, okay. And is the smallest of the three. The accompanying text explains that the base was made up of a cheap stainless steel. It resisted decay, but not entirely. This sample is made up of dozens of small flakes, and was taken from a chain-link fence that surrounded the sculpture. The text speculates that the material making up the fence could not have been seriously intended to protect anyone or anything. It was too weak to be anything but decorative. The third sample was taken from a garbage can near the sculpture. The accompanying text describes this kind of metal garbage can, its common use in institutional settings, and its resilience against air conditioning, discarded carbonated drinks, and other institutional hazards. Are there garbage cans that are not resilient against air conditioning? Well, am I allowed to look at the other one? I guess so. Shannon picks up the file labeled Mexico City VAM Station Wagon 1974. Inside the folder are three clear plastic bags containing muddy brown flakes of varying sizes and hues. Well, let's have a look. The first sample was taken from the hood of the station wagon. The text speculates about a tree under which it was parked, the decayed oak leaves found stuck in the windshield wipers, pools of dew that had accumulated in dents. So, I mean, it really is just archives of rust, huh? I kinda didn't expect the name to be quite so literal. I don't know why. The second sample was taken from the passenger side door. The text describes some variance in oxidation and age, evidence that the station wagon was involved in a minor accident, and part of the door repaired and then painted over. The third sample was taken from the gas tank. Given the relatively small amount of rust accumulated here when compared to the rest of the car, the accompanying text concludes that the station wagon was returned to use after being abandoned for some time. Well, that sure is an archive of rust. Hey Junebug, I have no idea how to get us back. Could you maybe do the thing here? See, she knows what's up. There's something humbling in the fact that when I'm playing as Conway has no idea what he's doing, and Shannon is the competent one. And then when I'm playing as Shannon, she has no idea what she's doing, and we need a new competent one. What do you think the odds are, with there still being at least two full acts left, that we're actually going to figure out how to get to Dogwood Drive here? I mean, it could totally be the case that finding Dogwood Drive is the climactic moment of the game, but it could also be the case that something that happens on Dogwood Drive is really what drives the end of the story. Got the time, Blue? Probably not. Dogs don't know how to read watches. Nah, you don't care about that. Maybe I should be more like you. I should also forget how to read the watch. Apparently Shannon feels we have approximately all the time in the world. You know, when we're playing as Conway, at least he figured out how to run again. I'm sure it'll take her a minute to respond. Let's just look around. Junebug's looking more robotic every moment. I wasn't expecting Lula to come to the desk, but this'll work. Here you are. Marianne has the rest of the evening off, so I'm minding the desk. Okay, any word on the address? The results just came in by courier. Good news. Donald and his assistants were able to sort through the noise. I had Rick cross-reference the results against some of our records. He found a corresponding mail stop on the Echo River route. As it happens, the night ferry is scheduled to make its stop here shortly. The ferryman carries the mail and collects the garbage as well. I'm sure you can catch a ride out that way. Now, you're welcome to wait here, but I have to get back to packing. Wait, are you going somewhere? I might. I'm feeling impulsive, and I'd like to be ready. Maybe back to Mexico. It's been years. They still have one of my sculptures in a museum down there, did you know? Big, ugly iron thing. Time to have it scrapped, anyway. Safe travels. Try to stay out of the water. It's colder than it looks, and deep. Okay, an ominous warning. So I guess we're waiting here, then. Or the ferry. Is the ferry down here? I mean, I guess we know there's water down here around the Zero. Oh, is it gonna let me... Okay, I'm not allowed to go over here anymore. It's pretty weird that they just invisible walled us. That's not a thing that has happened so far. Well, I mean, like, at the edges of scenes, but, you know, like, as a way of just, like, dividing us from an area we've already been. Shannon? Maybe it's just that Shannon has a hard time navigating interior spaces. Then again, I guess she would say this is an exterior space. Well, I guess nothing for it. How long do we have to wait? Oh, who knows? Alright, what happened? Sorry, what? In the church, at the graveyard. You two came out of there all weird. What happened? It's okay. You can tell them. It doesn't matter anymore. Fine. So, we were in that graveyard. I'm so glad we're getting to know this. The suspense was going to drive me crazy. Also, quite a lot of scenes this act. I wonder if they're going to keep getting more intricate. It's like longer and longer as we go on. I drive... Okay, I am. I am, in fact, driving here. Well, this can't be right. Looks like an old church. Well, it's worth a look inside. I think that's what I said last time. I want to stay outside. Okay, that's fine. No, I think I had Conway ask why. I wonder if it matters if we replicate what we said the first time. I guess I'm going to try. He lies to us about the lizard, like in a way that's really obvious. Then to the church. Is there anything else for us to do out here? Doesn't look like it. I'm a little surprised to see he doesn't, like... It could have recorded the way we moved him around, you know, and then played that back here. I guess it doesn't matter. Especially if it is the case that it doesn't matter if we replicate the conversation correctly. You know, everybody has slightly different memories of the event, I'm sure. The church floor is cold metal, scuffed in flecks by unknown boot heels. A handmade apparatus for the production of moonshine, assembled from scavenged metal and natural materials. I mean, yeah, that sure does look like a still. So there's this spooky, foggy graveyard forest with a weird, broken down church up on a cliff face? You know, you put something on a cliff and it's immediately like 100% more foreboding. Well, I don't know what I expected. The strangers, he kept saying. That's kind of vague already, isn't it? I mean, Donald's a stranger. Hell, you and I are practically strangers. Listen, earlier in the mine, I didn't want to talk about it, but... Yeah, what did you find down there? When I saw Weaver, she was on TV. I was testing a pretty simple tube repair, just, flipping through the channels to check the saturation, and she was just there. It was kind of horrible. I mean, I told you she disappeared suddenly, like ran away, but we thought... Once again, Conway avoiding the grim thing. So what was she doing on TV? That's the part that I can't... I'd flipped past that channel a dozen times before in my tests. It was one of those public access things, some old lady reading poetry. And then, the next time I flipped to channel 2, Weaver. It's burned in my vision now. She's standing in a room. The walls are a blank kind of gray. There's tape on the walls, like markings, and desks. A classroom, maybe. The camera is in the corner, so it's this sort of 45-degree angle into the room, and there's Weaver, right in the center of the picture. I stopped turning the dial. Hell, I think I stopped breathing. Eventually she spoke, but there was no real sound, just this awful hum. I read the closed captions. She said to go to the mine. I'd find something there. I can't remember her exact words. Whenever I try, I get distracted, fuzzy. Shannon coughs into her sleeve. It's so dusty in here, right? Oh, I hadn't noticed. Maybe it's me. I'm kind of allergic to... Oh, what the hell was that? Did you hear that? Must have been the church settling. No, not... Oh. Okay, that's... Of all the things I was expecting might happen, I was kind of figuring something was going to come up the cliff, like through that wall at the back of the church. Well, alright, that was the church waiting room. Now we have discovered the actual church, and hey, look, it's one of them. Well, this is probably going to be an experience. Oh, okay. I don't know exactly what it is that I find so jarring about, like, the shifting of control. Maybe it's just because, you know, I've been playing video games for a long time, an embarrassingly large number of years, and there's just a certain way you get used to doing things, and maybe that's all it is. But maybe it's the idea, like, there's something here about being yanked back and forth from viewpoint to viewpoint. Makes it hard to hold a narrative. The stranger activates the tape player slung on his shoulder. A crackly drawl echoes in the room. It is patient, and sounds like it should be smiling. My regrets. I hope I didn't keep you waiting long. We don't see a lot of foot traffic these days. I guess you're here about the job. I'm afraid we only have one opening at the moment. Horrible business. We're actually looking for some information about an old computer? Certainly, I'll tell you everything you need to know. I've only just met you, but I feel certain there's a place for you here. I'll just take you over to meet the dispatcher, show you the trucks, get you familiarized. We can converse as we go. So it's speaking to us through a tape recorder, but it's definitely responding? And you know what? Honestly, maybe it's not responding. This could totally have been pre-recorded. This is an somewhat acceptable answer to an awful lot of different things we might have said. What is this place? Well, it's not an old church. No, I guess not. But still, it all has a kind of reverence to it. And what's that smell? Like bread. Baking bread. Please, follow me. Okay, well, I mean, he's not too terribly menacing so far. Right, I'm him. Okay. I'm gonna guess it degosses the stranger and also Conway's leg. Okay. Just me. You know, magnetic interference is it's an issue you have to deal with as you get older. Oh, you young kids, never had to degauss yourselves in your lives. You don't know what you're missing. I have to ask you to step in here a moment. This is for your safety. And adjust your outfits, just a bit. There's some protective headwear up on the wall back there. Please remove your shoes and eyeglasses. We don't wear glasses. So, that won't be an issue. Okay, I said that because I was curious if he would directly respond. Like if we were getting a pre-recorded thing or if he was actually speaking to us. That seems to indicate the latter. Well, do us a favor and put on the headwear anyway. Just this way. Dangerous to run downstairs. Okay, well that was thoughtful of him. I thought he was going to try to get us to change into the same outfits these people are wearing. Speaking of these people. More new arrivals this evening. Plenty to do. Got to relay the formula. What formula? That's definitely the most interesting thing you've said so far. Eh? Oh, the formula. Changed our lives. Once, years ago, we were as prisoners to the intricacies of our debts here. We'd have to account for everything on paper. Compounding interest by hand, reassessing amortization and leveraged asset distributions according to nightly merit decay. Then, she stepped out of the dark caves to show us the light of the formula. She had a brilliant grasp of mathematics and a saint-like way of speaking right through the numbers. Now we just plug our daily numbers into the formula and run it all through the adding machine. We occasionally suffer some surplus drift, but she instructed us on all the necessary adjustments. It was devastating to see our revered mathematician go, but she was needed elsewhere. Her legacy abides. Hey, what job are they working? Oh, I don't know that it's been settled just yet. You see, sometimes we take on newcomers already in debt to the distillery. One of the foremen will find something for them to do, chip away at their sum until it's all settled. That's what I'm doing here, chipping away. That's what we're all doing. Boy, there's a grim sort of familiarity there. Seem I am not to speak to them. Wow, check this stuff out. It must be decades old, but it's in perfect condition. You really like old electronics, like a kind of a weird amount. Yeah, I've got it bad. That's why I got into this business, to keep old stuff like this running. Seems like such a shame to let it just fall into ruin, you know? Like that computer back in the cave. Xanadu. Decades of engineering, thousands of years of mathematics and philosophy, all petrified into living stone. How could you just let that fall apart? I wonder if the degaussing is actually doing anything. Like if there would be any difference if we never did it at all. Here's the fleet. Haha. Oh, we just use these to get around internally. And what exactly do you do here? Oh, I'm a copywriter. Text on bottles and flyers, ad copy, that sort of thing. Discerning shades and heartsick lovers have long known the taste of hard times, and held it in favor over all other spirits. That was one of mine. So, the trucks are just east-a-ways in shipping. You can become acquainted with the dispatcher there. And give me a tap on the shoulder if you see something that catches your eye. Always happy to show off the facilities. Sublime machinery. I mean, this is not really why we... Hold on a second. We have a chat with... Nope, we are being held to the narrative rails quite tightly at this point. Ooh, I do get to drive around manually a little bit. I'd feel a lot more comfortable if he would use both hands to steer the thing. I mean, obviously we're gonna go to shipping, but first, must explore. You know what would really help with settling our debt is if we stole a bunch of stuff. And I get... it doesn't look like there's a control for getting out of the vehicle. I'm also not allowed to drive it up the stairs. That would be a little irresponsible. This is an awful lot of caskets for a place that makes whiskey. Alright, let's take the tour a little bit here. Trying to interact with this thing here. I guess it's just a place to drive. Okay, no, that's how we get out. I had assumed he was just going to talk to us. The spirit safe. Now, don't let them catch you looking too closely here. Not within our purview. Well, what's it for? Well, it keeps us honest in the eyes of the state. Well, in the eyes of management, anyway. We keep pretty well out of view down here. Not much chance of being spotted by helicopter, eh? But if the law came knocking, We could say we were logging and securing our virgin spirits. We could say. Marvelous engineering, though, isn't it? Maybe? I honestly don't even know how to tell. It does seem like the distances involved here are small enough that we could probably just be running from place to place. Feel that draft of warmth like a summer breeze. This is the aging warehouse. It's heated artificially? 100%. Draws a lot of electricity to tame this cold, rocky cave, I'll tell you that. Of course, we only have half our aging stock in here at any given time. Most distilleries let their whiskey sit in casks through the cycle of seasons. In summer, the wood expands and the whiskey seeps in, picking up flavor. In winter, the wood contracts and squeezes the whiskey back out. Down here, there are no seasons. Each workday proceeds from the last in an unbroken chain of climate control. So, we make our own seasons. Each cask alternates in a weekly cycle between the cold ground upstairs and this heated warehouse. Huh. I guess I never really thought about what exactly whiskey was doing while it was aging. And here's the first moment you could really call it bourbon, the barrel dump. We cut it here with water from the middle of Lake Lethe. Has to be right in the middle at the deepest, coldest point. They dive with sealed jugs and only stop to fill them once they've reached total darkness. Pageantry? Ritual? Who can say? Tradition, maybe. You know, a lot of people use rounded barrels. Just saying, there might be some symbolic concerns with your method of conveyance here. I'm going to be honest with you right now, I don't know anything about how alcohol is made. This is where most of our staff ends up. What are they doing? They're checking the, quality. It's called quality assurance. We used to bottle everything by hand, but these machines are marvelously effective. Made things a bit complicated for the workers. After all, the distillery can't just fire them. How then would they settle their accounts? But there's nowhere else to put them. They keep an eye on things here. Can't be paid as much just to watch, of course. Well, that's progress for you. Yeah, that's progress for you. Again, probably we can just run around a little bit on foot. We don't need to be constantly getting back in the thing. Where does this go? Smell that? There's no mistaking it. Yeah, baking bread. Exactly. That's the work of our unique ingredient, the yeast. The story is that Mr. Bishop got it from a baker in Knoxville, in a little tin box. He was on the run, our Mr. Bishop, from the law. For a while he hid out in some muddy swamp, subsisting on live fish, but he always kept that little tin box dry, held above his head. Some among us have proposed that a bit of swamp water seeped in that little tin box, introducing a foreign element, and giving our yeast culture the eccentricity for which it's so widely known. I think it was that baker in Knoxville. They arrested him years later for possession of a controlled substance. Life in prison. Solitary confinement. No visitors, no windows, till the day he died. Must have been a hell of a substance, eh? It does seem, like an overreaction. And again, some people just love imprisoning. So I'm still not like 100% clear on the the overall mechanism here. Are they going to turn this around for me, or... Nope, just get the hell out. Yeah, I'm actually, like, very weirdly limited in where they will let me go. Well, hold on. Is there any place else to, look around here? Also, can I just back up? Yeah, there we go. I can just kind of indicate direction, and he does his best to figure it out. Alright, so we've already looked at the stuff here. I'm assuming... I guess I didn't actually go up those stairs, did I? I'm assuming they won't let me go into the aging warehouse any further. I don't think we did go up those stairs. I was too eager to get back in the tram here. This is not a tram. Cart. Cart might be a good word. What was that? There's probably another place where the safety equipment is stored. Please, don't touch a thing. Very sensitive devices. We're not even allowed to run the formula through them. So what do they do? Temperatures, pressures, wear, tear, acidity, supply levels, any and all attending numbers in need of crunching, and so on. Am I boring you yet? Are you simply dying of boredom? I myself could discuss this matter past sunrise. You know, we're trying to fix this old computer in the caves. Oh, of course, I'm boring you. Let's move on. Sometimes it does seem like maybe his dialogue's just pre-recorded. Ah, more of these old computers. Looks like about the same vintage as the stuff in the cave. How can you tell? Oh, I don't know this make or model, but you can tell. Like, check out these tubes. Nobody uses these anymore. I'm not sure where they'd even get replacements these days. It's rare stuff. Hey, is this like antiquing with Lisette for you? I probably sound kind of ridiculous, waxing on about vacuum tubes and oscilloscopes. Well, it's good to have a passion. Yeah, I guess it is. Someday you'll have to tell me what yours is. Conway doing everything in his power to stay polite. There's something about the mundanity of this. Oh, wait, there's another interactable there. Something about the mundanity of this that's kind of making it worse. Like, more menacing. I am feeling more menaced. So, I guess these are like before and after? I wonder what they keep the old casks around for. Well, they smell nice for a little while, but it's pretty overpowering. No way around that smell. And no way to clean them after the aging process, I mean. It's a one-way street. Yeah, that's broadly true of aging processes. Hold on, was there anything else back here? I just sort of like went off in a direction. No, continue to... I have to execute a 44-point turn here. I appreciate them making it like kind of tricky to miss stuff. Give you the indicators from nice and far away. Hold on, we'll come back to the shipping thing. I just want to drive around some more. Well, to make a bourbon, you'll need some water, won't you? Here's where it all comes in. The mundanity of it. Ha! Quite an impressive chorus when they all get going like this, though. What river is this? Well, it's an artery of the Echo River. The Echo River is fed from Lake Leth, but you wouldn't recognize a drop of it. Leth is cold, dark, and so very deep. And still. Rumors of Lake Leth's supernatural properties are, I'd say, just a bit exaggerated. But I wouldn't fish in it. So there's a bunch of water involved from the river, but also they have to get water from the cold, darkest spot in the lake? Again, I have no idea how this process works, man. Alright, looks like we can't actually go that way. The controls get like a little weird and sticky when you get near the edge of a place you're not supposed to be in. It's kind of hard to direct them away afterward. Alright, I guess this is where we're going. Wait, no, I want to stop and get out. How to leave thing. There we go. Well, these trucks look familiar-ish. Here it is. Now, I have to ask as a matter of course, what kind of experience do you have driving trucks? Well, I drove deliveries for an antique shop up until this last run. Aha, precious cargo. You'll do just fine. And you can drive safely, can't you? I haven't any doubt now. It's only after what happened with Miguel this evening. I wonder if that's the accident that we saw on the interstate. What happened with Miguel this evening? Well, the dust is still clearing, of course. Perhaps he closed his eyes a moment, or simply hit a curve too devilish. I do pity ill-fated Miguel. He was good company and slow to anger. But if we're speaking confidentially, well, with all that lost product to be repaid, bourbon and glass dashed across the interstate, and a few casks, too. We're all just thankful he had no next of kin. So yeah, that's definitely the accident we saw on the interstate. So, let's see if we can ring up the dispatcher. I guess. Doolittle starts the truck and switches on the CB radio. A deep, monotonous voice drones from the dashboard speaker. 1020 on that load, come back. Up in the Hummingbird Cave, 1012, City Kitty. Listen, sometimes people talk funny on CB radio, is my understanding. Is this a good time, dispatch? We may have found Miguel's replacement. Thought you might like to get acquainted. 10-9, come again? Introduce yourself. Oh, probably hello, right? Hello? Tell dispatch something impressive about yourself. They're very well regarded here. Listen, you folks know anything about a moldy old computer? 99 wheel holder, gotta pay the water bill. So. I'm certain they'll call back before long. Let's take a look around the truck, eh? Well, I mean, we know that they didn't actually end up driving around and doing deliveries. They weren't gone for long enough. Headlights work fine, see? Do little fiddles with the controls. That's important. Most of our product goes out at night. You never know who you'll run into in the daylight, and dusk can be treacherously misleading with all that indirect light. The magic hour, eh? Magic hour, sure. The angle of the sun at dusk and dawn means the light is mostly indirect reflections from the sky, so everything looks like a movie. It's all a bit softer. Drivers sleep in the day, then? Sure, those that sleep. Miguel pulled extra day shifts when he could. And sometimes he'd help me, you know? Sometimes over in bottling. He shouldn't have been out driving at dusk. Weird shadows, soft light. It's dangerous. Yeah, the headlights look, pretty okay. That they do. Moving on. What about the tires? Tires are awfully important. Oh, sure, I know you'll want to look. Kick the tires. That's a thing we do, isn't it? As though our knees could exert the kind of force these tires see out there on the road. We're more likely to hurt ourselves. Isn't it the way, hey? Sure they're big machines, but they can be fragile. Oh, absolutely. A truck deserves care and fearful respect. like a glass elephant. Miguel was a good driver, but he didn't have that quality of deference. Conway sat in a dim room full of folding chairs. What a weird... I want to ask about Miguel. It seems like the polite thing to do. But I kind of want to click on this just because it's such a strange line to occur in this place. The walls and ceiling were painted with old smoke. Oh, maybe it's just a memory that's been triggered here. Someone read from the book. He drank coffee, as it is. And he listened. The speaker listed all the things we tried. That we... Most people in the room were probably there by court order. Yeah, I'm assuming this is AA, right? A few others shared. They spoke in abstractions like a program of action, a good orderly direction, spiritual, but not religious, religious, but not spiritual. All the things we tried. And then it was over. They clasped sweaty hands through a short prayer and stepped back out into the morning. I want to believe that Conway did not leave the AA meeting and go directly to a bar. He started walking. He was always walking these days. It was good to slow down. It felt clarifying, like a walking meditation. The road ran by a creek for a while. He took an unforeseen detour where the creek and road parted, following the edge of the water. He skipped a few stones, alone, then stopped to consider an overturned boat. It was a kind of serenity, that wandering and looking without purpose. It is a pleasant thing. He was coming to rely on those moments. Now, what else can we show you? How about the back? The back seems like an important part of a delivery truck. Well, it looks like it's just about ready to go out. We have some good, strong folks in shipping here, so you never need to worry about loading if you don't want to. Bit hard on the knees and back at our age, eh? Of course, you'll have to unload at the destination, but that's the job. And some drivers like the extra shift stacking and loading here. I shouldn't really do any lifting these days. Oh, I see. Well, surely we can spare a dolly and carrying strap, for your health and safety. Conway woke up on baled hay. Everything was too bright. His head hurt. The usual. Lisette and Ira just argued loudly just outside the open barn door. She wanted Ira to take him inside and shower, have some coffee, get to the job. Ira said there wasn't time. Conway was in no condition. It was an important job. They couldn't put it off. Ira said to let the deadbeat sleep it off and then send him packing. He said Charlie could do the job. Oh. Conway stepped out of the barn, shielding his eyes. I'm going to try to make good here. He tried to say something reassuring, but just sort of stumbled around it. Lisette looked away. Ira just spat and went inside to wake Charlie. Ira was a stubborn man, so Charlie went along, and Conway drifted out again, and he didn't hear about the accident until months later. So, what's next? Let's hope something a little bit less heavy. How about that? You control the wipers. Boy, words, huh? You control the wipers with this knob here. Do little fiddles with the controls. And they seem to have a decent torque to them, eh? Can't say how they'd fare in an ice storm, but we must never delay a shipment. Better to assume the risk. Well, I mean, always clear skies down here, right? So I hear. But most of our product is delivered by surface roads, which feel rain quite often, particularly in the spring months. So I hear. They ditched class for the day to drive in the rain. It was pointless to stay. I'll review. And he was a lost cause, and she didn't need it anyway. She was smart and bored. It was time to cut out. Shitty day for it, though. 83 and biblical flood. They went to see a movie. It was some anonymous swashbuckler film about real men and women. Real tights, real lips, fake blood. They brought a flask. They smoked cigarettes, drank awful hooch, whistled buckets of rain. She sang about someone she wanted once to have loved. Brown hair curled around her ear. She had a voice like Scotch whiskey. And probably they just sat there and drank, right? And another and another. She worried it was getting dark out, and then it was getting light out. They ended up in someone else's field, in someone else's car, an early morning joyride, and a sunrise collision. She got on the bus, and he hiked back to his car. He sat in his car and went over some options. Chicago, Toronto, Barrow? It seemed like a bold and impulsive gesture at the time. As he pulled out of the parking lot, he removed his hands from the steering wheel for a moment and felt the car drift into a decision. Years later, he'd think of this as the moment he himself started drifting. That's some modest technology, but suited to the job, eh? Plenty good enough. The truck's radio crackles back to life. Driver, come back. Ah, there's dispatch. Now, tell them about your experience. Tell them the truck's in good shape. Tell them you'll start in the morning. Look, I really can't. Yeah, we've got to finish this delivery and a few... 1033 dispatch, got 2 black eyes and a flock of crocodiles, come back. That might be code, or it might actually just be gibberish. Also, maybe it's poetry. 10-4, back it down and prick your eyelids, driver. Come back, Lem? 10-4. Okay, listen, I'm not getting involved in this. We have things to do. Dispatch is addressing you. He's here, Dispatch. Got your ears on? Good. Listen to this. Alright, I'm listening. So... I think that went well. Let's head back up to logistics and seal the deal, eh? And I've got one more thing to show you. It's this. That's pretty weird, right? It doesn't really seem to be accomplishing much. We'll just let him drive. Doolittle seems to know where he's going. That's a terrible parking job, though. Truly awful. I don't think he has eyes, which might explain it. Let's head back upstairs, eh? I have one more thing to show you. Wait, we only came looking for some answers about this stupid moldy computer. Oh, the old man in the cave with the moldy computer. That black mold... It's drawn to whiskey. It feeds on ethanol fumes, you see. As we age the whiskey, some of it inevitably evaporates into the air. The angels share. It goes through the vents here and out into the caves. If we can scrape up that mold, we can usually apply some pressure and cold to it, squeeze and condense the angels share back into drinkable whiskey. Every drop counts when you're making a living on the stuff. So we'd go down and scrape it off his equipment, just like any other place it grows. And he kept sending his people here to drive us away. Paranoid, truly paranoid. Well, now we have the formula, so we don't need to go collecting mold. But we didn't do anything to his moldy computer. He just forgot the password. One of his assistants shared it with me. Dome in air. That'll get you going, I'm sure of it. So, join me upstairs? Huh. Well, Why does the formula mean they don't need to be... Because it would seem like it would still matter, right? To try to be efficient with the whiskey. Also, I don't know how far upstairs we're talking about. If you don't mind. Yeah, we'll give you back your hats. I guess he must be getting tired? I can't run anymore. Here it is. A beauty, wouldn't you say? It's an antique, you know. What is it? Why, it's an adding machine. This is where we come for our daily ritual, to calculate the day's interest and repayment, according to the formula. I usually do so at the beginning of my shift, so I know how many hours I need in order to keep up. Yes, I believe you'll do well here, sir. Happy to have you. Congratulations, you're hired. Wait, we can't... Oh, it's customary here to start each day with a shift drink. Let's make it special. Mark the occasion. This is top-shelf stuff now. Single barrel. No, he doesn't... Down the hatch. Vina Memorie Mors. Is that Ezra? Yeah, it totally is Ezra and June. No, I don't want to drink. It's not... I tried to move the cursor away, and now it's... I seem to have lost control. Yeah, I didn't click. Decent enough. Welcome aboard. He's not working for you. We have to get back to this... he has a delivery to make. What's this? Not working? Are you turning down this opportunity? She's right. I have to make this, I'm disappointed. And I'm afraid that leaves us with a delicate problem. As I indicated, this is the top-shelf stuff you're drinking now. It isn't cheap. If it's not your first shift drink, well, and there's the matter of this tour just now. My time and experience are billed at quite a premium. This is not good for you, my friend. You're in quite deep by my back-of-the-envelope estimations. Well, we have that in common, I suppose. All of us. Yes, I'm afraid you'll have to work this off somehow. It's just the way of it. What's happening right now? You can start tomorrow. Take the time to settle your affairs. Of course, the interest begins to compound immediately, and, well, we'll go over the formula when you get here. I should get back to work. See you tomorrow, then. I see why they were running out of here. So, I guess I start in the morning. Yeah, I guess. I'm confused. That's just the way these things go, kid. Huh. Well, that still gives us a few hours to roam, right? Where's that ferry? It's not exactly the kind of terror I was expecting when we first started hearing about the people who work for hard times. But it is a kind of terror I'm very familiar with. Wow. All right, well, I think that seems like an awfully good place to stop for the day. Thank you all so much for watching. That is, of course, going to be it for us for now, but come back next time, tomorrow, for the interstitial between Acts 3 and 4, here entitled Here and There Along the Echo. And we'll see you then.